But there is a political dimension to it, which is the fact that the critics have indicated that, well, when the NDC was in opposition, it did say that it was going to declare state of emergency. Why is it not embarking on that trajectory now? You have to look at the two contexts and then compare them accordingly. The context for the call for the declaration of a state of emergency is very relevant to the conversation. Why were we calling for the declaration of a state of emergency? Now, from 2017, when the then NPP government took office, we saw the interventions that were rolled out. We saw Operation Vanguard. We saw the rest of the measures that the government of the day rolled out. In 2017, let's put on record, there was no call for the declaration of a state of emergency in 2017.
But there were calls from your government that indeed there was the need for a state of emergency.
Yes, exactly. But I'll tell you at which point that call came. In 2017, it was not there. 2018, we can agree there was no call. 19, 20. So
do we have to replicate the same structure?
If you would allow me, I just want to make a point. I think it is very useful to the conversation. From 2017 all the way to 2023, getting into 2024, there was really no call for the declaration of a state of emergency. That call became rife at the tail end of the NPP's administration. And that was because in our analysis, after the 8-year period, all the other measures had failed. So the state of emergency under the circumstances became the point of the point of last resort, because over the 8 years the measures had failed, and therefore we said, okay, then let's declare a state of emergency. And that is the same point the president articulated, that it is supposed to be an option of last resort. But as of now, the other options on the ground, the other interventions are working. That is why you don't go and declare a state of emergency when the other alternatives are working. So the timelines are important. It is not the case that we were calling for the declaration in 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, or even 23. It was in 2024 when in our analysis and diagnosis we acknowledged that, look, all the rafts of interventions are not working. So now go for the jugular, okay? Go for the main thing, declare state of emergency. We now come into power in 6 months.
Indeed.
We have been able to recover, repossess the 9. Therefore, it makes the declaration momentarily moot.
Interesting.